Hello everyone, it's Karina with Karina Loves to Plan. Thank you for joining me in my little corner of the internet where I talk all things planners, fountain pens, and fountain pen inks. Today it is time for my July currently inked, and I will be swatching in my Hobonichi A5 notebook with 52 GSM Tomoe River paper. And I will also be swatching, oh gosh, I'm not even ready. Look at this. I'm not going to quote Devil Wears Prada again in the why is no one ready? But I will also be swatching with my Browse ornament nib. This is in the 3mm size, and I'm using my Zodiac Penco nib holder. Let's get started. The first pen and ink combination is my Esterbrook SD. This is in the Honeycomb, and this has a needlepoint nib, and I have it inked with Sailor Studio 573. There's like barely any in here. I have enough essentially to do this swatch plus the paper swatches, so I'm kind of hoarding this, but also know that I need to use it for a few more things other than just this swatch today. So making sure that I have enough on this nib. I really like this ink, and I've been trying to see if I can find a bottle of it anywhere. And right now, I don't think this is in stock anywhere. It might be one of those ink studios that gets discontinued, unfortunately. But we'll see. Just adding a little more here. Close that. And I'm like totally not ready. Where are my towels? Gosh, I normally film when I'm done work. I normally work 9 to 5:30. So by the time I get to the end of the day, I'm kind of talked out. So we have my Esterbrook SD, and this is in the Honeycomb, and this has a needlepoint nib, and the ink is Sailor Ink Studio 573. Love how that looks so far, and I am quite excited for this pairing. The next pen and ink combo is one of my newest pens. It is the Stilo A Stile collaboration with Leonardo pens, and this is Radici, and I have it inked with Robert Oster Caffe Crema. Sorry, I'm just realizing like I must have given quite a bit of this ink away because there's only like half a bottle of this, and I'm absolutely okay with having given ink away, because there's so much in these bottles. And I personally would never be able to use all of these in one lifetime just by myself. So it's nice to have friends that I can share these with. Look at that beautiful creamy brown. Cleaning off my nib. And then I'm so paranoid that I'm gonna spill this. So this is the Leonardo and Stilo A Stile. This is the Momento Zero. Oh, that nib is so smooth. Momento Zero. And this is in an extra fine. And the ink is Robert Oster Caffe Crema. I don't know why I decided not to write that all out, but you know what I mean. And so far, that is a beautiful combination. Oh, it's rolling away. There we go. The next pen and ink combination is my Hinze pen. This is the Champagne at Midnight in the Model K, and I have it inked with Sailor Ink Studio 280. I know I've inked, I actually checked. I'm not sure if I did ink this year yet, if this is another repeater, but I don't mind, because if I'm repeating an ink, that means I do really love it. But then there's also the part of me that's like, I need to make sure that I'm using all the inks that are in my collection. And I'm of that mindset where if I'm not using it, then I've got to get rid of it. So I need to do a little bit of a declutter with my inks soon. I love this yellowy green brown, and I did a comparison video quite a little while ago with Inaho or Pilot Iroshizuku Inaho dupes, and this one was one that was considered, but when you compare them, this actually does look quite different. So this is my Hinze pen in the Model K, which is my favorite model from Hinze, and this is Champagne at Midnight, and this has a very wet, extra fine nib. And this is Sailor Ink Studio 280. That is just going to shade beautifully, and don't worry, I will share all of these inks once they're dried. Oh, beautiful. The next pen and ink combination is my Hogtown pens. This is in the Swansea model, and this is the, oh my gosh, it's my brain. This is in the Opal. Why do I have to look this up? Because I cannot remember now for the life of me. I'm looking this up on my spreadsheet right now. So this is the Hogtown pens in the Swansea large model in the Conway Stewart Opal. Just check out that beautiful resin. And I have it inked with Wearingeul Pergatorio. I was looking through the inks that I had already chosen for this month, and I was like, I need a pink. I don't really have a soft pink in here. And when I choose my inks for currently inked, it's a mix of going with, well, half of the inks that I choose are going to be new inks or inks that I've recently acquired, and then the other half are going to be inks that are already part of my collection that I purchased bottles of and want to use. And then in combination with that, I'm also looking at how many of each color do I have? Does it match with the pen? So I don't think too much about it when I'm choosing my inks, but now that I say it out loud, it is a little bit of a process. Swansea large, I did not spell that right. And this is in the Conway Stewart Opal, and this has an extra fine nib, and this is Wearingeul Pergatorio. Beautiful, soft pink. Some people find this too light, but with my writing and how wet this extra fine nib is, it just works beautifully. Love that. Next we have my Pelikan M800 in the brown black, and this has an 18 karat extra fine cursive smooth italic grind, and I have it inked with Sailor Yurameku Kitsune Biyori, one of my favorite inks ever, to the point where I'm now on my second bottle of this ink. And what I love about this ink is that I feel like it surprises me every single time, because it's going down like this grayish brown, but the shading properties of this are just outstanding. Love that. I've noticed that I'm falling more in love with just the complex shading inks, and while I still love shimmer, the shading for me is becoming one of my favorite characteristics of an ink. So this is the Pelikan M800 brown black with an extra fine cursive smooth italic, and this is Sailor Yurameku Kitsune Biyori. Making sure I'm spelling things correctly. And then look, now that it's drying, I feel like it looks a little more purple. It's like Sailor Manyokuri. It's one of those where you're like, what is it actually drying down as? And I am so excited to use this month. Next we have my Mayfair pens. This is in the Noldor Valinor, and I have it inked with Pen BBS number 288. And I think when I first swatched this ink, I didn't know it was a shimmer ink, but now I am excited for this bright, punch you in the face type of pink, which is not a typical pink that I normally go for, but Is this the only shimmer ink that I have inked this month? I'm not sure. And I have to admit, I actually have my little cheat sheet next to me with what pen is inked with what, because I think I've forgotten, and I just inked everything yesterday. Yesterday being the July 1st, and I've already forgotten what I've put in here. So this is from Mayfair pens, and what I love about this pen is just the grip section is so different from anything else. And then this particular pen, it's reverse threaded, and it is a cartridge converter, but what I love about this are just the swirls in this particular resin. Normally, or sometimes when you get the colors, they just really mix in together and they blend, but here you can really see the line between every single color. I love it. And this has the Pacific Northwest Pen Show nib from 2024, so from 2 years ago, and I believe this is an Imperial nib. So this is Mayfair Pens, Noldor, and let's write with the other side, Valinor. And this is an extra fine Imperial, which I love because basically the regular way it's a cursive smooth italic, and then the other side is more of a broad. And the ink is pen BBS number 288. Fun. That is fun. Not an exact match for this pen, but that is going to be so fun to use this month. Next, we have another new pen in my collection. We have the Pilot Custom 74 in the forest green, and you'll notice I haven't taken the sticker off. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Maybe we'll see how I feel. And then I have it inked with Pelikan Edelstein Olivine. This was a sample sent to me by pen friend CR. All 26 green samples, which was so lovely. Thank you very much. And there were some greens that were really, really lovely and are tempting me to buy full bottles of them, although I really don't need any more bottles in my collection. Like, honestly, these samples will be more than enough for me to get like 2 or 3 uses out of an ink, and that is more than enough to satisfy me. Let's close that before I spill that everywhere. And this is the pen that I will be using for my Hobonichi A6 5-year journal. So Pilot Custom 74. Oh, I'm loving this nib. So this is forest green with a 14 karat fine nib, and this is Pelikan Edelstein Olivine. Oh, such a smooth nib. Absolutely love this. I'm so excited to be able to write with this every single day this month. The next pen and ink combination is my Platinum Fuji Unkei with, this is number 21, which is Sailor 50 States, Alabama. Another one, or another ink sample sent by my pen friend CR. And it's amazing to me how many different greens they were able to send. And just how many different greens there are. And there was I guess I go through phases. And green wasn't always, or green was really never an ink that, or an ink color that I was really gravitating towards. So this is Platinum. Oh, love this. 3776. This is in the Fuji. Okay. And this one is the 14 karat extra fine nib. Oh my gosh, that's so smooth and crisp. So this is Sailor 50 States, Alabama. Oh my goodness. Loving both of the greens here. And you can definitely see how my tastes change over time. Oh my goodness. And especially even with the types of pens that I'm purchasing or using, but also the nib size, how my tastes change over time. And that's why I love doing these currently inks, because you can really tell what I'm gravitating towards and how my tastes change. Like my currently ink from last year at this time probably looks completely different. The next combination is my Wancher in Frozen Sake, and I have it inked with Vinta Peria. And I feel like it's fitting that I'm inking this pen because I purchased this a year ago at the Pacific Northwest Pen Show, and I will be heading there next weekend. So I'll have had this pen for a year. And that's what started it for me with the Sailors and then eventually the Platinums. I know this ink looks really light, but I feel like it's a total perfect match for this pen. And I don't know what it is, but I think recently I've really gone for lighter inks as well. And some have really surprised me with how legible they actually are. So this is the Wancher, and this is in the Pro Gear size. This is Frozen Sake, and this is an 18 karat fine nib, and this is Vinta Peria. Yeah, in the writing, very legible, and you could see how the chromo shading is happening in that swatch. Oh, so excited for that one too. Now I have my Pilot Kakuno, and I believe this one is the Matarumi Light Blue, but I don't remember the exact name of it. Now I feel like I have to refer to my pen index at the front of this because I wrote down the proper Pilot Matarumi. So not Nimbus Gray. I think this one is Azure Sky. Okay, it's Azure Sky. And I have it inked with Sailor Ink Studio 224. Again, not an exact match, but I wanted an excuse. I always have a Pilot Kakuno inked up every month, and I wanted an excuse to also use this Sailor ink. Another beautiful shading ink, and I feel like I own this at one point, and then I just went through a phase where this wasn't for me. So I don't know, even with inks, my tastes change over time. And that's absolutely okay and completely part of this hobby. So that is my Pilot Kakuno. And this is Azure Sky. And this has a fine nib. And this is Sailor Ink Studio 224. Yeah, again, not an exact match, but I'm absolutely okay with that. I mean, it could have gone, I don't know, it wouldn't have gone better with Vinta Peria, but it's nice to compare those. Love having a Pilot, I love having a Pilot Kakuno inked up every month. The next pen and ink combination is my Leonardo Momento Magico in Amethyst, and I have this inked with Diamine Lady Gray. There were so many of you that told me that I had to try this ink that I did end up purchasing it in my last Atlas Stationers order, and so far, really great first impression of this ink. I really like the gray purple and the shading on here. Although something's happening to the texture of this paper right around this point. I'm wondering if I accidentally maybe got glue tape on here or something else on here. Lovely. And yeah, you can see something happening around here with the texture of the paper. Not sure what that is. Clean off my nib. And then we go, so this is the Leonardo Momento, oh, very wet nib, Magico in Amethyst. And this has an extra fine elastic So I'll show you in a second here, but this is Diamine, Lady Gray. So this is going to be a little bit bouncier with a little bit of flex. There we go. I really like the combination of these two together. I think that is a very lovely match. The next pen and ink combination is my Just Turnings in the Pastel Primary Manipulation, and I have it inked with the Diamine Forever ink. This is in the Smoky Mauve, and I got this ink from a fountain pen meetup actually a couple months ago, and I just haven't found the perfect pen to ink it up with. And I really like this shade of purple. It's like a mauve, well, yeah, it's smoky mauve as the name says, but I'll be interested to see how this holds up compared to the other inks. I don't use permanent inks very often, if at all, so this will be interesting for me. So this is Just Turnings in the Pastel Primary Manipulation, and this has an extra fine Architect nib. And this is Diamine Forever Smoky Mauve. Yeah, I'm loving how that's drying. And I was trying to find like a match to that ink within the resin, and I can see some parts of it that would match with that perfectly. Beautiful combination. So here's a quick close-up of the inks now that they've dried. So we have Sailor Ink Studio 573, a little bit more orangey than I had originally thought, but a good match for the Honeycomb. And then we have Robert Oster Caffe Crema. I love this creamy yellowy brown. And again, I think a good match for the Radici pen. Oh, I didn't even write Radici because it's supposed to be, that is the name. Radici. And then the Hinze pen with the Sailor Ink Studio. Look at how that has shaded over. You've got pinks and greens in there. Such a gorgeous ink. Then we have Wearingeul Pergatorio, a really lovely light dusty pink. And you know how I feel about dusty pinks. And then Sailor Yurameku Kitsune Biyori. Looks more purple here, but then when you place it next to the purples, it looks more gray. So you don't really know what that one is. And then we have Pen BBS number 288, bright punchy pink. Really fun. Here we have Pelikan Edelstein Olivine. I really like that dark green, and it does shade a little bit in here too. And then Sailor 50 States Alabama. I do like a brighter green that does look green when you write with it rather than a really, you know, almost black. Then we have Vinta Peria, really light in the swatch, but you can see some chromo shading happening here, but the writing sample is actually quite legible. Then Sailor Ink Studio 224, I think something happened to the paper here, that's why it's looking so weird, but I love the chromo shading of the purple with the green, and just so fun. I hope to see some more of that in the writing sample and the doodle. Then we have Diamine Lady Gray. You've got hints of pink and lovely grayish purple. I'm looking forward to this combination. And then last but not least, Diamine Forever Smoky Mauve. More of a pinky, purpley type of color, but still very enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to working with all of these this month. So there are all of my pens and inks for July. I'm really looking forward to all of these combinations. I will also be taking these on vacation with me, as well as to a pen show. I may not take all of them to the pen show. I don't know. We'll see. But I will be taking all of these on vacation because we'll be gone for half the month of July. All right, but that is it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. What do you think of these combinations, and which one do you think is going to be my favorite at the end of the month? All right, thanks again for watching, and have yourselves a great day.